It is Monday night. We are live and in living color following another edition of Monday Night Raw. So you know we had to hop on the live and discuss what is going on in the world of professional wrestling, namely the WWE, of course, being its Monday Night Raw. What a star-making performance for one Braun Breaker. I mean, ever since he emerged from NXT, a lot of us, myself included, especially when it comes to these type of things, because obviously it's my take, but knew that this guy was going to be a star. He was going to emerge as one of the next big things in the WWE, aligning him with individuals with the pedigree and the credibility of a Paul Heyman, of a Seth Rollins, can only do wonders for Braun Breaker. Aligning him with those individuals, and of course, Bronson Reed doesn't help or doesn't hurt either. But Braun Breaker really steps up as the self-proclaimed leader of the group, where they talked about not having any type of leadership, and he steps in and says, we do now. And Braun Breaker professing that he has a plan. He has a plan heading into the main event. That is Bronson Reed versus main event Jey Uso, in a match that again was kind of ruined by interference, but I mean, that's what heels are going to do. But I look at this, we knew that everything was going to be lined up to have Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins as the ultimate payoff. Evolution 2005, that run that saw Batista rise to the ranks, that is basically what we're going to be seeing with Braun Breaker. But I mean, this guy comes in, helps demolish Roman Reigns. Him and Bronson Reed actually take his shoes. They take his sneakers. Now, if you know what that means when you take a man's sneakers after beating him down, that's some real gangster stuff right there, man. And to see Braun Breaker lay out both Jey Uso and Roman Reigns through the barricade, I know it's a spot that's really overplayed, but still, being able to see Roman Reigns down and out for the count like that is still something to marvel at for sure. Shout out to Dion here in the chat. Says, hey, Jose, don't have really much to talk about tonight. Just stop by to support and hear you speak, brother. I appreciate you, Dion. Thank you for stopping by, talking about pro wrestling here on a Monday night. It's a weird episode of Raw. There were some things I liked. There were some things that I think, again, you can kind of skip over. Braun Breaker really stole the show for me. And then to see him, again, lay out Roman Reigns in the fashion that he did, you also hear him speaking to the cameraman, talking about how these people are here for me, talking about how this camera is my camera, that he's the big dog, that they have dogs in the audiences. It was very reminiscent of that old promo that Roman Reigns cut during the lead up to Crown Jewel against Logan Paul, talking about how, all these people are here for me. This is my cameraman. This is my arena. This is my show. Again, just eerily similar to that. Braun Breaker, we knew he was going to be a star. I feel like this night is going to be one of those nights, or maybe even the night, that we saw him just take it to another level. Not necessarily main event or world champion tomorrow, but we can see, okay, hey, something happened here. Something happened on the 28th of July in 2025 that made us think, you know what? Yeah, we keep saying he's the future, but the future, it might be right now. Sir Robert says, this is Paul Heyman's booking, and it is awful. I mean, hey, to each their own. Not everybody's going to enjoy the same things, and as my chair keeps popping. And the thing that I thought was popping was certainly Braun Breaker. I can't stop talking good about Braun Breaker. I will say the matchup itself is forgettable. I will concede to that. It was a forgettable matchup because we've been seeing a lot of these intersecting matches, whether it is, Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. There's always interference. So I totally get that in that sense, that it gets tiresome not seeing a conclusive finish to a matchup and basically rehashing similar matches all the time. I'll concede to that. But in terms of the story that we're telling here, leading into SummerSlam, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed have the upper hand. They right now are in the driver's seat. They have the momentum. They have all the heat in the world leading into the biggest tag team matchup of their careers this upcoming Saturday night on SummerSlam. Will it be the main event? Will it be Punk versus Gunther? We discussed that on last night's live stream. If you haven't checked out Sunday's live stream, make sure to go back in the archives and do so and see what my thoughts, as well as everyone else's thoughts, were in regards to what should be the main event of SummerSlam Saturday. Dion says, Braun is definitely coming into his own. I just wish Bronson Reed got on that level on the mic. Both in-ring are good to me, but Braun Breaker is really breaking, no pun intended. It's tough. it's tough because you want to be able to elevate both guys, but naturally there's always going to be that one that elevates over the other. Bronson Reed is the perfect heater for the group. Doesn't really have to speak. I think he can cut a good promo if you've seen him in his early days in NXT. He has that charisma about him. Not necessarily the flamboyant charisma like, let's say like The Rock, but he does have that presence, that threatening and menacing presence to where I don't think he necessarily needs to be cutting promos. Now, when he does cut a promo, let it be menacing, let it be threatening, and let it be impactful, but that doesn't mean he has to all the time. That's why they have Paul Heyman there to cut a majority of the promos. This might have been the most that we've heard from Bron Breakker since joining this group that I don't even think we have an official name for. But Bron Breakker definitely coming into his own. I couldn't agree more, Dion. I do think that Bron Breakker is really breaking in. No pun intended. That's a great joke, even though you didn't mean it. But I think there's going to be time. I think there's going to be time for Bronson Reed. Right now, it's in the midst of a tag team matchup. Let's say they have their own single stuff going on. Like, they could still be a part of the same group, but have Bron Breakker feud with someone, have Bronson Reed feud with someone, and they both kind of intersect and interject themselves into each other's matches. But I feel like Bronson Reed will get his time. His stuff with Braun Strowman in the last year, even with Seth Rollins, I thought was fantastic. It really was a way to highlight him and not only put him on another tier in terms of the roster, but also present a level of credibility when it comes to the Tsunami. The Tsunami has really gotten over as a huge finish. It's laid out the likes of Sami Zayn. It's laid out the likes of Seth Rollins. Obviously, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso as of late. So I do think it is in the cards for Bronson Reed to move up the card here. But right now it's Bron Breakker. Right now it's Bron Breakker for sure. And it really begs the question as to where we're going to be, let's say, by the end of the year, maybe by WrestleMania season, because it's no secret the eventual plan, at least what we've been discussing here on the live stream, is how Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins are going to get into it. Seth Rollins obviously is the leader. Mr. Money in the Bank, who hasn't been seen since Saturday night's main event due to that injury he sustained in his match against LA Knight. Shout out to those who said yeah. But now we have Bron Breakker, who seems to be pulling the reins, at least for tonight. At least for tonight. I think it can be assumed that Paul Heyman is the one running this show. But when you have a physical force like Bron Breakker, it's hard not to concede to Bron Breakker. How does that lead forward to in WrestleMania season? Is he going to get a little power hungry? Is he going to be a little bit arrogant? Maybe the power goes to his head. He assumes that there's a freebird rule with the Money in the Bank contract. I know we talked about that on stream. It's been brought up that maybe they go for the freebird rule, and Breakker tries to cash in the briefcase, leading into some kind of feud or some kind of quarrel between he and Rollins. I'm here for it. I'm here for the long game. But for the time being, this matchup between Roman, Jey, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed, I was okay with it. It made sense. For me, logic is king. As long as it makes sense, it's fine. But I wasn't as excited for it. Now, we have something here. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed in one night really reignited my interest for this matchup. I still think there's a certain team that's going to win this for sure. I'll share my predictions on Thursday's live stream. Be sure you're there. Thursday night, we'll have another live stream for the predictions of SummerSlam weekend. But for the time being, I will leave you with this. If you weren't looking forward to the matchup that was this tag team matchup, I would hope that tonight may have changed your mind, or at least maybe swayed your opinion on thinking about where it is that we're going, not only with the match, but with the story itself. I'll get back to Sir Robert here. It says, Braun is fine. This is the lamest, excuse me. This is the lamest SummerSlam card ever. Why not make Roman a main eventer? Remember the bloodline, or you could beat him down by up-and-comers. Well, I don't think you want to beat him down by up-and-comers because that's kind of going to devalue his credibility. Now, depending on the up-and-comer, for sure. Totally understand that. But we can't just say remember the bloodline when that's all they talked about today. Jey Uso, obviously, and the Paul Heyman promo. I'm fine with where it is. The original plan, I feel like, would have been Roman versus Seth. So I feel like you saying, why not make him a main eventer? Well, we're not going to put the title back on him. He's not going to have the title for quite some time. He had the championship for 1,316 days. I think we're in a period now where Roman doesn't need a title. Doesn't need to be in that spot. Now, as a main eventer, fair. But I feel like it would have been reserved for Seth Rollins. His injury obviously prevents him from doing so. And there were some reports that maybe Seth was going to fight LA Knight. Who knows? I think probably LA Knight. I think the Roman tag team matchup was always in play. I'm fine with it. Not everybody can be a main eventer at the same time. And I'll ask you this, Sir Robert. You say this is the lamest SummerSlam card ever. I beg to differ. I feel like there's been worse SummerSlam cards. But in terms of Roman Reigns, he's in this tag team matchup. Do you think that's the main event? You say Roman should be a main eventer. Does this matchup warrant the main event spot for Saturday night's SummerSlam event? Dion says, that 6-man TLC tag I think will steal this show. That's the matchup that I think I'm looking forward to the most. I'm looking forward to Gunther versus Punk. I'm looking forward to Cena versus Cody. I do hope that matchup's better than the WrestleMania matchup. That matchup leaves a sour taste in my mouth personally. But the triple threat match also between Naomi, Rhea, and Io Sky, definitely on my list. But that TLC match, man, come on, you guys know me by now. I love a good ladder match. And the SmackDown tag team situation right now, I'm all ears. You know, I'm glued to it. Love Fraxium, love the Motor City Machine Guns, the Street Profits, the Wyatt Six, of course. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just curious as to where it falls on the card. You know, does it fall on Saturday? Do they pull it on Sunday? As of right now, at least I haven't seen it. I don't think they've assigned it to a day yet. Sir Robert says no. Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think it should be the main event. I think it should be Gunther versus Punk. And that's not to say that Roman's not a main eventer no more. It's just for the time being. You know, I'm sure he'll get an opportunity to main event another major PLE. Dion says Cena versus Cody night 2. I think night 1 will be the tag match. I wouldn't put it past them to have it as the night 1 main event. I still think Punk Gunther. I think Punk Gunther should go as the main event for night 1. But Cena versus Cody is the obvious main event for the whole weekend. Sunday night's going to be a big main event. Big fight feel, if you will, for Cena versus Cody part 2. And like I said, I'm hoping it is a step up from their WrestleMania encounter. Again, I'd probably have to rewatch it. I haven't seen the main event of WrestleMania since April 20th of this year. Maybe if I rewatch it, it'll change my mind. But I just remember coming out of the event just deflated. You know, even though Cena won the 17th title, it's just the way it happened. It was kind of anticlimactic, if you ask me. I think also because of the inclusion of Travis Scott, that was kind of a turnoff for me as well, especially now knowing that there had been a reported falling out between Travis Scott and the WWE. It really makes them look silly to have him involved in the biggest story of the year, of the biggest event of the year, with the biggest star today versus the biggest star arguably of all time, or at least in the last 25 years. It should have been a monumental matchup, a monumental event, and now it's forever going to be recognized as the night that Travis Scott interrupted a main event matchup for what? It's eerie. I don't like it. Again, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I think about it. So I'm hoping that this Cena versus Cody matchup, it's a street fight. It's a street fight, you know. With a stipulation like that, it's hard to screw that up. So hopefully they get everything fixed. Hopefully they have a good matchup planned. I'm curious to see if we're going to have any run-ins. I don't know right now if Cena has any friends aside from Travis Scott and The Rock. Again, we haven't seen them. We haven't seen Travis Scott since WrestleMania. We haven't seen The Rock since the Elimination Chamber. And we haven't had any type of reasoning as to why they're aligned. I mean, they're not even aligned, really, if you think about it. Do you have a hot take for the Night 2 main event? Okay. It always comes back to this, because I feel like it could go for either main event. But prior to CM Punk winning the gauntlet match, I thought, this is where my head was at, but now obviously it's in limbo. I thought Seth Rollins cashes in on Cody. I thought Cody Rhodes beats Cena, middle of the ring, wins his second WWE Championship, and out comes Seth Rollins. and cashes in on Cody Rhodes. It gives Cody the rub, beating John Cena clean, we'll say. And then it moves forward in the story. Because many fans, I feel, would agree, the money really is with the chase. When the babyface is chasing the championship, that's where the level of devotion is created for the wrestler. Once they're the champion, it's hard to keep them, above water, essentially. And also the fans have kind of been 50-50 with Cody. They've been booing him and cheering him. Every time he's associated with Cena, there's booing for Cody. And I don't think that you can deny that. There's going to be some fans who are like, oh, no. No, they're booing Cody. Now, whether it's because he's facing Cena or because it's just genuine booing, that's another thing. My hot take, if Seth is healthy, I think he could cash in on Cody. Punk versus Gunther is Tony Khan booking. Why? Two great wrestlers that should fight. Well, that's been the basis of it, because Gunther has said that he's the best in the world because he's the world champion. CM Punk is the best in the world because he says so, and personally, I'm biased. I think he is. But it also leads to the gauntlet matchup. They do a number one contenders matchup, which again, I feel is very vital. It is very vital. You need to have some sort of qualification, some sort of match that allows you to earn that title opportunity. I don't like when championship opportunities are just given out. Someone challenges is okay, sure. I don't like that. I like to see a match lead into it. I do think so. I do think you say it's Tony Khan booking, but really isn't that what wrestling is? It's two people fighting to be the best. Punk and Gunther don't have any prior history. There's no animosity. This is the first time CM Punk is in a feud that isn't necessarily a blood feud, like Seth Rollins, like Drew McIntyre. He has no history with Gunther. Now, I will concede, I will say that the way the WWE has been booking their shows is there's little to no build. It's just keep chugging along. So, I'll give you that. There's a lack of a build there. But what kind of story did you want them to tell? There's no history there. This is the first time these two have ever really encountered one another. But nonetheless, two great wrestlers trying to prove they're the best in the world for the world title on the line. I mean, I'm fine with it. That doesn't bother me. San Francisco said, didn't I tell you Seth will cash in on Cody? He did bring it up. But I mean, it's been time. There's been some time in between Money in the Bank and now. Dethroned by Eli says that was a 4 out of 10 Raw. Again, it was a weird Raw. There were some things I like, a lot of things that you can just kind of skip over. For the go home episode of Raw, heading into SummerSlam, there were some things that they hit, and there was a lot of things they didn't really care for. The LWO challenged the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough for the World Tag Team titles. That matchup, honestly, you can skip. The only thing that was really notable of that was the interference by El Grande Americano and the new masked wrestler, who I'm still trying to figure out. I think it might be Pete Dunne, but I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that either. So, aside from that, nothing there. The 8 women's tag matchup, I do think, I thought was fine. The team of Io, Stephanie, Rhea, and Nikki was very interesting. I think Nikki Bella, stood out like a sore thumb, but still, overall an entertaining matchup. I thought I enjoyed it. Sheamus, his matchup against Grayson Waller, it was fine. I like Sheamus, but it didn't really do anything for me. We're still not done with the Rusev stuff. Dethroned by Eli says, what did you think of that weird Pete Dunne thing? Is it Pete Dunne? Because I know I saw some people saying it was Pete Dunne. I'm not 100% sure. I'm about maybe 90% sure it's Pete Dunne. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Is everybody just going to pop up with masks nowadays? Because Chad was doing it for a bit. Kaiser's doing it. And it looks like it's Pete Dunne. Dethroned by Eli says 100%. I saw someone say he has long hair, it's not him. And I'm like, dude, you can hide that in a mask. Or he could have a haircut. Who knows? But if it is Pete Dunne, what's the correlation? He prevents the LWO from winning. He helps the Judgment Day. Is it something with Kaiser? Are we going to get a tag team between Kaiser and Pete Dunne? I don't know. Really, Pete got a haircut weeks ago. Okay, there you go. Hey, I missed that part. There you go. But I don't know. It's obviously in the early stages of whatever they're going through. Um, I'm wondering what the payoff is going to be, because initially when we saw Kaiser take the Pete Dunne got his haircut, I didn't know that. Thank you guys again. This is why I enjoy this, because you guys keep me updated. I didn't know he got his haircut, but I thought initially when Kaiser took the mask of El Grande Americano, I assumed, okay, we're gonna have a matchup between Gable and Kaiser, mask versus mask. I think Gable would be the baby, or Gable would be the heel, and Kaiser would be the baby face. But now, with the introduction of possibly Pete Dunne as a masked wrestler, I don't know where that goes. It kills the Chad Gable mask gimmicks, makes it less captivating now. Yeah, okay, so it's not as special, because there's gonna be other wrestlers. But I am interested to see what's the payoff. I just want to see Kaiser and Gable in the ring, against one another. I just think that'd be very entertaining. The two can put on a great matchup. We know that to be a fact. I don't feel like it's going to be a technical classic. I think it's just going to be more of a entertainment type of a matchup. But Kaiser versus Gable is very enticing to me. Don't know where they're going with Pete Dunne. And what I find funny is, like, you guys know I'm a fan of the WWE. I grew up on it. There might be a little bit of bias there, but this is a typical WWE move where you have stars like Kaiser, Chad Gable, and Pete Dunne, and you're not doing much with them. Kaiser and Pete Dunne have not been on TV for months. Gable, yeah, he was on TV for a while, with the whole Otis and the Creed brothers. But it's typical of them to have these uber athletic, talented wrestlers on their rosters, not do anything with them, and saddle them with a gimmick like this. It's a typical WWE move. As long as it's entertaining, as long as they are happy with the direction of their character, and as long as it's not complete trash, which is tough. I'm not going to flat out say anything is trash unless if it is. But it's just funny that we have Kaiser, Gable, and Pete Dunne, and we're not doing anything with them. And same thing with Tyler Bate. Dion says, what's that action figure of CM? Is he wearing a Stone Cold shirt? That's fire. Yeah. So I actually had picked this up. We have a wrestling store, the Wrestling Guy store in Phoenix, and we had gone and picked up some figures. I got, trying to avoid the glare, CM Punk. This is specifically the night he cut the pipe bomb. That's why he's wearing the Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt. Really cool figure. Glad I picked it up. Trying to avoid the glare. There we go. Okay. Bron needs time. Bron, yeah, I got you. Bron Breakker is on his way. I'm not saying he's 100% a made man. He's going to be the main event of WrestleMania next year. I'm not saying that. But he certainly is making strides. Alberto Del Rio, how much heat could this dude get on WWE? A lot of heat. But maybe not good heat. That's the thing, though. It just depends on what kind of heat you're looking for. But I don't see Del Rio coming back. Take me back to 2012. Yes, the summer of Punk, man. That 434-day title reign. Love it. Who cares about Del Rio? I found it for everybody wondering. Yes, San Fran found the action figure. And he showed me to it, and I was like, okay. Like, I got to get it. I also picked up a Sting figure. It's all the way in the bag. You might be able to see it. It's right here. Sting figure of his matchup at AEW Revolution. It was he and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks in the retirement matchup for Sting. Had to pick that up as well. Next to him is Bret Hart, which I got as a birthday gift. And then under Bret Hart is Kevin Owens as a Christmas gift several years ago. I feel like it was maybe 2018, 2019. Also got a Rikishi Funko Pop here. Shout out to my sister who picked it up. And then, of course, the championship titles here over my shoulder. The undisputed title that was held by the likes of JBL, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, The Undertaker, and then the Winged Eagle Championship, one of the greatest titles of all time. Dion says, wish they would have pulled the trigger with that CM Punk versus Austin, especially after that fire segment with JR during 2K, one of my fave moments. It was real tense, too. They were promoting WWE 13, and that's one of my favorite games of theirs because it was focusing on the Attitude Era. It was a time where the rosters were expanding, so at that point, it was like the biggest roster to date. Obviously, nowadays, that's not the case. It's gotten even bigger. But that segment where it was JR, Punk, and Austin promoting that game, a lot of tension, whether it was real or not. I mean, it was good. It was great. And it really got you thinking about a potential dream match between the two. I don't know if there was ever any plans. I doubt it. Because of Austin's health at that time, he would go on to have another matchup, street fight type of match, in at WrestleMania 38. But, man, it would have been a hell of a show. Hell of a matchup. Thoughts on your fave Goldberg doing another retirement matchup? Oh, dude, don't even... Just don't. Just don't. He had complained about having a retirement matchup for so long, and that's fine. You know, you want to go out and have a final matchup. I can get behind that. That's fine. But then he goes on and complains more about it, and it's like, dude, like, some people don't even have a last match. Some people are never welcome back to the WWE. And you got that. In Atlanta. With friends and family and colleagues from way back when. The main event of a show that was on national television. Saturday night's main event, NBC. I do understand he was upset that his speech got cut, but that wasn't WWE's fault. That's the network's fault. For NBC, they have a time constraint. They have to follow a time. So I don't know why he wants to have another retirement matchup. I mean, he's hinted at it. You know, the whole never say never thing, and I'm like, why? Dude, didn't he break his hand or something? Like, during this matchup, he always gets hurt. Whether he gets hurt or someone else gets hurt, there's always an injury in a Goldberg matchup. Should not be having another matchup. That was fine too. And another thing, I was a big proponent as to why it should not be over 7 minutes. And it was, but you know what? The match wasn't even that bad. I give him that credit. The match wasn't even that bad. Why would you want to ruin that? I think Reigns needs a new gimmick. Well, what would you suggest? I'm all ears. I mean, I'm not part of the creative team. But, I mean, like what? He's the tribal chief. And if anything, this gimmick of the tribal chief, if you want to call that a gimmick, has been the most successful one for him. Prior to the tribal chief, he was the big dog. And he was hated by the audience. He was a polarizing figure who was supposed to be the next face of the company, but the fans wouldn't get behind him because it was just too cheesy. It wasn't genuine. It felt forced. And since becoming the tribal chief in the summer of 2020, it has done great business for not only Roman, but for the WWE. I don't think he needs a new gimmick. Now, does he need to move on from, like, the bloodline? Sure, but I don't know about a new gimmick. The match wasn't bad because Gunther is so effing good. Fair point. I mean, Gunther is a professional. This man, there's an old expression commonly associated with Bret Hart, but the man is so good, he could have a great match with the broom. Gunther carried him. Let's be real. And not everybody can carry Goldberg in a matchup, but yeah, 100%, Sir Robert. 100% I agree with you. He's that damn good. The ring general, the world heavyweight champion. For those of you just joining the live stream, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. I'm a fan of professional wrestling. We're talking Monday Night Raw as well as SummerSlam, the build-up. This was a go-home show of Monday Night Raw for SummerSlam. We'll be doing a live stream on Thursday where I will share my predictions for every matchup this upcoming weekend. SummerSlam Saturday and Sunday. That'll be also your opportunity to come into the live stream, share your thoughts, share your predictions for SummerSlam again. That's on Thursdays. live stream. Then we'll also have live streams Saturday and Sunday following the SummerSlam events. I'll be sharing my reactions and my recaps for the SummerSlam events as well. So hope to see you guys on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday for those lives. Dion's back in the chat. It says, what are your thoughts on Hikuleo right now? He looks great. I mean, like, the size of Hikuleo, Tonga, looks phenomenal. I like the way they're booking him to be like this menacing force for the MFT. But there's not much really to say because we haven't seen a match of his yet. But the presence is there. I'm just wondering, damn, did they really have to take that long for Hikuleo? I mean, obviously they had to get through the Jacob Fatu stuff. But whenever his first matchup occurs, you have to present him as a monster. You can't have him lose his first match, on TV at least. But I think it was the right call to have him associated with Solo. I don't think it would have fit with the bloodline, the Roman, Sammy, Usos, that bloodline. It was always going to make sense to have him aligned with Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny, and to be associated with Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo. I think it's a good fit for him right now. And you know what, low key, we haven't seen this man in a while, but part of me wants to see Hikuleo versus Omos. Just two giants, two behemoths going at it. Make it a last man standing match because these guys are so tall they might be struggling to get back on their feet. Down for that. We also had a video uploaded earlier today. It was the membership exclusive of Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam 2005. One entertaining main event, but also one that is a sentimental one for me. It was the first pay-per-view that we have bought as wrestling fans, SummerSlam 2005. So I went back and rewatched it, gave my commentary, my analytics, and as well as my reaction to the matchup itself. That's available now for the membership exclusive. If you're a member of the Main Event Mafia here on YouTube, you get access to that video. And if you enjoy it, like it, comment down below some of your thoughts. And I hope to be adding it as a regular piece to the membership exclusive, just giving my own commentary and reactions to some matches. I'll probably put up some polls in the future as well as to what matches you guys want me to watch next. But that's very much something I would love to include you all in. And it might be a monthly thing. I don't want to overdo it and have it overstay its welcome. So maybe the first week of every month, there will be a new upload of these match commentaries. But I had fun with it. And I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I enjoyed rewatch. And it's a great opportunity, too, to rewatch some old matches. Because so much of this channel is dedicated to like the current stuff. Which, I mean, I try to keep up to date. But I do also enjoy going back and watching the older stuff. So it'll be a great opportunity to rewind and rewatch some matches from my past. I started that. Shawn Michaels wasn't, yeah. Well, I mean, hey, Shawn Michaels was really playing the heel character, right? But obviously between him and Hogan, the story goes that Hogan and he being Shawn Michaels, pronouns, pal, they had agreed to a trilogy of matches that ended up being just one because of Hogan's limitations in the ring, his scheduling, his injuries. And Shawn didn't take too kindly to that because he knew he was going to be losing one match to Hogan, and that was it. So he kind of took it upon himself to oversell on every maneuver that Hulk Hogan had performed. And I will say that is a little bit unprofessional, but as a wrestling fan, it was hella entertaining. If the tag match is the main event, do you think they add another member for shenanigans? It's a possibility. Roman Reigns has been known to be the main event a lot of PLEs because of whatever takes place after the matchup, whether it's a return, whether it is interference, whether it is the inclusion of a new character. I do think if that tag team match main events, for sure something's going down. Whether it is an appearance by Seth Rollins, whether it is an appearance by a new member, something big is happening. Yep, it was Video Game Live. Literally. I mean, this guy was flopping all over the place. And it's like, it's not a bad match. By no means am I saying it's a terrible matchup. And at the same time, again, it's not a technical masterpiece either. But it is entertaining. I will say, rewatching that matchup, I had fun with it. Seeing the way Shawn works around the Hogan shenanigans, being, the whole 80s style of wrestling where it's like over exaggerating hand movements, the facial expressions. Shawn and Hogan, very contrasting styles between the two, but I felt like it meshed well enough to where, again, it wasn't a masterpiece of a matchup, but it was entertaining. And I feel like that's the key component when it comes to these matches. Is it entertaining? The WWE is solely based in the business of entertainment. We know that. It's not pure wrestling like something you're going to be finding in other promotions. It's entertainment. And I was thoroughly entertained by that rewatch. If you guys haven't seen the matchup in quite some time, check out Peacock. It's on SummerSlam 2005. Or if you're like me and you own the DVD, pop it in, watch it. I think it also might be on their YouTube channel, the WWE The Vault, which is a fantastic YouTube channel where they have so many matches from the past, a litany of matches in the catalog to go back in for something that's been almost 50 years of pro wrestling history for the WWE. At least, of course, they have another one for ECW, WCW, NXT. It's a gold mine. If you don't have Peacock or Netflix, I really suggest subscribing to their YouTube channels to have access to those older matches. A lot of discussions here about, the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, SummerSlam, Cena, Cody. Also, be sure to drop in your guys' comments or questions about anything in pro wrestling, whether it's TNA, whether it's AEW. Drop in a little bit of AAA in there as well if you're at it. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to talk about it, but Mercedes Moné is back in the news, having recently won 2 more titles, now has 8 championships. 8 championships for Mercedes Moné, who I think is one of the best female wrestlers in the world right now. But it does beg the question, what do these promotions do without these championships? Because she can't be promoting, or she can't be competing in these promotions on a regular basis. She has 8 championships. Now, granted, one of them is the Owen Hart title, which you don't defend. But still, 8 titles, that's some Ultimo Dragon type of stuff right there. I mean, Kenny Omega was the belt collector for a bit there. He didn't have this many titles. Kurt Angle was collecting belts. He didn't have this many titles in TNA. When does it stop? Does she get to double digits? And who does she lose to? I mean, yeah, I know she lost to Toni Storm, but she wasn't the champion. So which title does she lose first? Out of the 8 current title reigns, I will say. But a big week of wrestling ahead of us, obviously. We have Monday Night Raw tonight. A litany of shows throughout the week. Obviously, SummerSlam taking place this upcoming weekend from New Jersey, MetLife Stadium. Hopefully, it'll be a good show. WrestleMania 41, depending on where you fall on that, was either really good or mid. My biggest question is the main event between Cody and Cena. Can they deliver a better matchup than WrestleMania 41? Take out the shenanigans. Take out, Travis Scott. But it's a street fight, so anything can happen. Dion says WWE needs MJF. I don't know if they need him, but I certainly would like to see him in there. Just to see what it would be like. I feel like they'd have to water him down, though. I don't think MJF, as currently advertised, could be the same in the WWE. But it would be very interesting to see. And speaking of MJF, who stars in the new movie Happy Gilmore 2, we talked about this on last night's stream. After the stream ended yesterday, I decided, you know what? I'm going to watch both Happy Gilmore movies. And I did a double feature last night. Watched the original. I think it still holds up. I've had fun with it. The second movie was fine. Still prefer the first one, but I thought MJF was fine in it. Playing Adam Sandler, or Happy Gilmore's son. I thought it was good. I thought it was okay. I'm not going to pretend like, oh my god, it was a great movie. It was good. I enjoyed it. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, I've seen it once. I think I'm set. Becky Lynch was also in it. There was so many cameos for Happy Gilmore too. But if you do want to watch a Happy Gilmore movie, I think you just stick to the original. Truthfully. What about MJF too? Dion brought up MJF in the chat. So For anybody that's been keeping up with AEW, MJF had been trying his damnedest to be a member of the Hurt Syndicate alongside, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, MVP. Finally gets access into the group, and now, he's been acting a little bit selfish, which is in character for MJF. That's not something that we're not used to, but the Hurt Syndicate, they don't believe in the me, me, me. They believe in we, as in we hurt people. And now Bobby Lashley, who was the last guy to give the seal of approval to MJF to join the Hurt Syndicate, he is the first one of the group to say, you know what, I don't want you in the group anymore. Will the others fall in line? MVP and Shelton Benjamin both sharing glances at one another, and along with Bobby Lashley, like, hey man, you might have messed up to MJF. How long does it last? How long does it last? I tell you what, I knew there was going to be dissension. I think we all knew there was going to be tension within this group, but not this soon. I feel like it's really soon into it, but I guess it's only a testament to how self-centered MJF has been in regards to his relation to the Hurt Syndicate. Do you think Seth and Becky do stuff together since their heels probably bringing back someone like AJ Lee, even though it's a shot in the dark? Because it's been speculated, but never say never. You can never say never in pro wrestling. I love that adage because it leaves so much room for possibilities. I think Seth and Becky might do something together on TV. They're both heels. I think it makes sense. They did team up together back in 2019 when both were on top of the world with the championships at hand. There's a possibility. If they do have AJ Lee come back, it just makes sense to have her involved with Becky and Seth, given the whole CM Punk situation. But I don't know, man. AJ Lee has made it very clear that she doesn't really have a desire to enter a WWE ring or just a wrestling ring in general. She's also been interviewed countless times talking about her marriage with Punk and how the reason it works is because they don't work together. They have their time away from each other so that when they come together, it's like they cherish it even more. So based off of that, I don't think she comes back. I think she's set. If she does come back, maybe for a one-off appearance, not like a match, but just an appearance, like maybe she's in the crowd, maybe she cuts a promo, maybe it's a Hall of Fame thing. But in terms of like a wrestling match, I think the best you're going to get is a Royal Rumble appearance. Aside from that, I think she's good. I don't think she'd come back unless if she's working the crowd, and having us believe one thing and then, swerving us and coming back. But I'm going to say no. But never say never. Sir Robert says tomorrow the WWE has a new documentary. That's right, WWE Unreal premieres tomorrow, or I guess Tuesday, depending on the time zone. Tuesday on Netflix, a new documentary providing a behind-the-scenes look on how they build the wrestling shows in terms of the stories, in terms of the production. I believe it takes place throughout the year of 2025, starting with Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and going so far as to maybe Backlash. I don't know exactly when the storyline ends, but yes, there's a new documentary coming out on Netflix. It's a behind-the-scenes deal, Sir Robert says. A lot of controversy, kayfabe doesn't exist. It really doesn't. I feel like the cat's been let out of the bag for so long. Everybody knows it's a TV show. It's entertainment. It feels very close to like how the NFL does Hard Knocks, or how the NFL on Netflix has done the quarterback or receiver series, giving us a real in-depth behind-the-scenes look of the lives of these athletes. Now, with this docu-series, not only is it a look behind the scenes in terms of the personal lives of the wrestlers, but it seems like it's the inner workings of the machine of the WWE. I know there's going to be a good portion of fans that find it controversial and say it's hurting the business and kayfabe doesn't exist, but I mean, does it? I mean, social media nowadays makes that very difficult to be the case. On social media, we see TikToks and pictures of heels and baby faces together. We know who's in relationships with one another. We sometimes we even have storylines leaked, and we get ahead of the game in terms of what's going to happen on an episode of Raw or SmackDown or etc. So to me, it doesn't bother me as much. It doesn't bother me because you're advertising it as a docuseries of a behind-the-scenes look. You're telling me what it is. That's fine. It would be more difficult if it was like current stuff. If it was like last Friday's SmackDown, and it's just current stuff being revealed, and it's like, oh man, the story's still going. Whereas this has been months in the past, so I'm okay with it. I enjoyed the WrestleMania documentary from last year. That took forever to come out about WrestleMania 40, Behind the Curtain, the WrestleMania documentary. I'm into that kind of stuff. And it's funny you talk about that, Sir Robert, because on, what was it, Saturday? I think it was Saturday. You can't even see it. Hold on. On Saturday, I actually had popped in the Beyond the Mat documentary. I watched it for the first time in, man, easily 15 plus years. I watched this as a kid. Come on, I was a kid breaking kayfabe already. And that wasn't even intentional because of the WWE Unreal docuseries coming out. It was just because, I saw it, I wanted to buy it, and I thought it was a good documentary. So with stuff like this, that's breaking kayfabe because it was back in '99. But this new docuseries, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's like 6 episodes long, so it's just a matter of how much can I binge watch in one sitting before, having to do something else or having to go to bed for work. But I do think for sure I'll have it done before SummerSlam, and that'd be a great talking point as well for another live stream. We could talk about the docuseries, but I also want to give people an opportunity to check it out. I don't want to have to spoil anything for anybody. I'll probably have it done by Thursday's live stream, truthfully. If it's 6 episodes, which I think it is. But I'm very interested. If you guys are interested in that docuseries, WWE Unreal, make sure to drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments. Let me know what your hype and expectations are for the documentary itself. I'm down for it. So Robert says, I know going long is Jelly Roll the worst celebrity ever in a WWE program. The worst celebrity in a WWE program. I mean, you can make the argument Travis Scott. Truthfully. Because at least with Jelly Roll, he has reportedly been putting in the work and training. He lost a lot of weight, I'm not a big fan of the tag team matchup. Jelly Roll and Randy versus Logan and Drew. I'm indifferent about it. But okay, see, Sanford brings up Drew Carey. The Drew Carey one does piss me off, to tell you the truth. He was in the Royal Rumble, won Royal Rumble, and went into the Hall of Fame based off of that. That one does piss me off, to tell you the truth, that Drew Carey's in the Hall of Fame. I know it's just a celebrity Hall of Fame, so it's like there's other people like wrestlers who aren't in the Hall of Fame, but Drew Carey is. So even taking that into consideration and just saying celebrity involvement, how are you going to put Drew Carey in the Celebrity Hall of Fame based off of one Royal Rumble appearance, but you don't have Cyndi Lauper in there? I'm a big, big supporter of Cyndi Lauper being in the WWE Hall of Fame because of the contributions of the Rock and Wrestling Connection back in the early 80s. It baffles me. I don't think Jelly Roll's the worst. And also because it's still going on, maybe he has a great match. I'm not saying this guy's going to be performing like Shawn Michaels back in the 90s or Kurt Angle, in TNA. But what if he has a good match? What if he has a good showing? I mean, look what happened with Bad Bunny. People didn't know Bad Bunny was going to be that good in the ring. Or even Logan Paul. Drew Carey is definitely up there, though, for me in terms of the worst. Snooki? Dude, I mean, the Snooki one I thought was completely idiotic. The only reason they had her there was because of the Jersey Shore hype, which is fair, I guess, because you want to be able to cross promote. But it's like the Snooki stuff I didn't care for either. Jelly Roll shouldn't be able to do anything to Logan Paul. It looks so fake. I mean, come on, he's not a professional. You gotta suspend your disbelief. You gotta give him a little bit of leeway. I've seen super kicks that aren't that good looking, but still, I try to block it out and roll with it. I don't know. I'm willing to give him a shot. I'm willing to give him a shot. The crowd's into it. know, the crowds are into it when he's there. So hopefully he has a decent showing in the matchup, and we'll go from there. Right now, I can't judge him in terms of like, is he the worst one, because we haven't seen him in the ring yet, like an official match, I should say. But I have seen Snooki wrestle. I've seen Drew Carey wrestle. There's more people to be named too, but Randy, please RKO Jelly Roll. I would love that, but they're buddies. It looks like, two Tennessee boys apparently. But I mean, it's Randy. He could RKO whoever the hell he wants. Give him the RKO. But I don't think it'll happen. But here's crossing our fingers. Here's hoping that Randy just gives everybody an RKO. I'm still thinking, I'm like, okay, what other, celebrities were in a matchup that were just awful? And specifically WWE. I know you said WWE, but I still think of Snooki. And Drew Carey might be the answer. Truthfully, it might just be Drew Carey. But there have been good celebrity matches. I mean, Floyd Mayweather, I thought had a decent showing against the Big Show at WrestleMania 24. I talked about Bad Bunny having a good matchup as well. Logan Paul is no longer a celebrity. Jay Leno was better than Jelly Roll. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, time out. Jay Leno? That's what we're going to go off of? Again, I got to see Jelly Roll in the ring. I can't do it, without at least giving him a shot. Let me see him in the match, see how he goes, how his cardio looks, how he hits these moves. But Jay Leno is crazy. And if you want to talk personality, like cutting a promo, well, yeah, Jay Leno was the host of the Tonight Show. So naturally, he has that level of charisma and personality to be in front of a live audience in professional wrestling. So, but again, I feel like we should wait, give Jelly Roll this opportunity in the matchup at SummerSlam, and then we'll judge accordingly. I think that's only fair. As we begin to start unwinding here at the top of the hour of another edition of the J Area Wrestling Show, we talked about the SummerSlam bill. We talked about Bron Breaker's big night. If you are missing any point of the live stream here, make sure you watch back the replay on the archives to get the full discussion here on another edition of the J Area Wrestling Show. We're going to start closing down, but I want to give people an opportunity here to ask any more questions, throw any more comments in the chat. Again, we'll be going until the end of the hour. Johnny's back in the chat, says, do you think Roman Reigns and Jey Uso will lose at SummerSlam? To that, Johnny, I will say one thing, and that is stay tuned for Thursday's live stream. I will be giving my full predictions and analysis of the SummerSlam card this upcoming Thursday. A perfect segue there into the list of uploads that we have this week. Thank you, Johnny, for the question. Thursday, though, I will be giving my predictions on Thursday evening for SummerSlam. Then on Saturday and Sunday, following SummerSlam, Saturday and Sunday, I will be giving my reaction to those nights as well. Dion says, Rikishi said if he sees a sign or chant that they want him back, he will come back. Paul mentioned his name tonight. Do you see him being a manager? I don't see him being a manager, but I could see him making a one-off appearance, whether it is in the crowd, whether it is in, as a, segment on the show, in ring or backstage. I'm surprised he hasn't been yet. I honestly thought for the WrestleMania 40 match between Jimmy and Jay, I'm really surprised they didn't have Rikishi at all. At all. That really shocked me. I don't see him as a manager, because who would he manage aside from his sons? What do I like about Jelly Roll? His fandom for wrestling. I can't say I like his athletic ability. I haven't really seen much. He has a good personality, I suppose. Jose loves his music. Are you talking about Rikishi? Oh, or Jelly Roll. I'm not a big fan of Jelly Roll, actually. In terms of Jelly Roll's music, I'm not a big Jelly Roll fan. I honestly, I can't name one of his songs. Liar. Oh yeah, Liar's one because it wasn't that was that for one of the shows? I don't know if it was a SummerSlam or a Royal Rumble, but I can't say I'm a big Jelly Roll fan. I don't really listen to music nowadays. I have, select artists that I keep up with nowadays, but a lot of the times if I'm driving, I don't listen to the radio. I listen to either my podcasts or just my playlist, and a lot of it is like 70s to 80s rock or throwback music. I don't really listen to a lot of music nowadays. That was SummerSlam last year when Dom turned on Mommy. That okay, because that was where he chokeslam Theory, right? Yeah, because I remember him chokeslam. I remember him chokeslamming Theory because it was good looking. It was a good chokeslam. But yeah, Liar, that's not bad. Not bad at all. But again, it's not like I would, lie to you and be like, oh yeah, I'm a Jelly Roll fan. I'm like, no, I'm indifferent. It's not like I hate him or love him. It's just okay. But that was a good looking chokeslam on Theory. I'm hoping it's a good match. I'm not saying it's going to be 2 stars, but it's like something short, something entertaining. I think we can definitely expect Drew, Randy, and Logan to be carrying a lot of the load. Where is Theory? Apparently he's injured. I'm not sure what is injured, but Grayson Waller had said that he's dropping Theory because he got injured, and now they're officially broken up. And if you want more of my feelings on that, you can tune in on last week's Monday Night Raw recap. Ridiculous, dude. They built it for so long to have these two break up, and that's how they do it. Just casually, nonchalantly. It's terrible. All that build up for nothing, honestly. But I'm hoping Theory comes back as a babyface and attacks Waller. We get a matchup out of them because naturally you have to have a matchup. And Theory goes on this babyface run. I really think Theory could be a decent babyface. Loved his stuff with The Way, with Johnny, Dexter, Candice, Indy. But he's been a heel ever since being on the main roster. Give him a shot. Give him a shot as a heel. Or as a babyface. He's been a heel for so long. Any last second questions or comments here in the chat? Otherwise, we're going to start closing down. It's the end of the hour. The end of the power hour here on J Area Wrestling. I appreciate you guys always stepping out and choosing to spend your time here with us talking about pro wrestling. Whether it is WWE, TNA, AEW, AAA, whatever the case may be. Any of those 3-letter acronyms are always welcomed here on the live stream. We talked about Monday Night Raw. We're talking about SummerSlam. If you want to continue the conversation about SummerSlam, make sure you tune in to Thursday's live stream where I will provide my in-depth and conclusive predictions for every single matchup that's currently scheduled for SummerSlam weekend. That'll be on Thursday, right? Saturday and Sunday. Keep in mind, after the show, maybe about 30 minutes following the shows on Saturday and Sunday, I'll be going live talking about my reactions to each night of SummerSlam. It's a big night for the live streams, and we're looking forward to continuing to build the momentum, build on the momentum that we've already built on these last couple of months. As you can see, of course, we are now at the 6,000 mark for subs. We're trying to get to 7,000 by the end of, August maybe? I think it's very much a possibility based off of the momentum that we've been carrying on. I would love to get to 10K by WrestleMania 42. It's really looking like by the end of the year we can get to 10K if we continue on this trajectory. Of course, I can only do so much. I try to give you guys consistent content when it comes to the live streams and the weekly uploads. It is all really up to you guys. You guys are the ones that are driving force behind the success we're seeing here. The success of this channel not only is a testament to what I've been doing here on YouTube, but it's a huge testament to the support from you guys. It would not be here if it weren't for you guys. And I do not want to forget that. I do not want any of you guys to forget that this channel was built by a professional wrestling fan for professional wrestling fans. I appreciate you too, Dion. I appreciate you too, my friend. Sir Robert says, conclusion, WWE cares not anymore about good storytelling. It's all about the money. I will say, to close this out, Sir Robert, there are still some good stories. But TKO is definitely about the money. It's definitely about the money. Business is booming for them. Like CM Punk said back in 2011, to bring it all the way back, they are making money in spite of themselves. They can provide average television and they will still be printing money. Look at all the advertisements. Look at all the sponsors. It's a business. So you're not wrong there, Sir Robert. I do think there are still good stories to be told, and still good stories that are being told. But you are not wrong when you say it is all about the money. Shout out to Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me on today's live stream here on a Monday night. I will see you all Thursday evening where we talk about the SummerSlam predictions, all the matches that are scheduled. They're looking pretty good. It's good to great, I think. I'm looking forward to it. Hope to see you guys on Thursday. And remember, Saturday and Sunday following the SummerSlam event, I will be going live to share my reaction to each SummerSlam night. Of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. I want to thank you guys again for hanging out with me on tonight's live stream. All love and all appreciation on my part. Everyone stay safe. Everyone have a great week. A great week of wrestling. And I hope to see you guys on Thursday. Everyone take care.